First you take the cherry and the sweet whipped cream. And then you take the ice cream.
If you are old enough to remember the orange roof, this one is going to hit you right in the chest. Number 13. The all-you-can-eat Friday night fish fry. This was a weekly appointment. Plenty of locations ran a Friday special, fried clams or fried haddock, served on a plate the waitress just kept refilling. Ask for more coleslaw, more fries, more clams, and it kept coming. It cost almost nothing by today's standards and still felt like a small luxury. Nobody runs a Friday night like that anymore. Number 12. Corn toasties. Before drive-thrus, before the frozen breakfast sandwich, Howard Johnson served little golden griddle cakes that came off the supply truck frozen by the case. Corn toasties, orange toasties, blueberry toasties. They tasted like cornbread, and a pancake had a baby, sweet and savory at the same time. And a kid who would not touch oatmeal would eat 3 of them without a word. You cannot buy them anywhere now. A whole category of American roadside breakfast just quietly blinked out, and almost nobody remembers it was ever there. Number 11. The frappe and the metal cup. Order a milkshake at Howard Johnson's and you did not get a milkshake. You got a New England frappe, ice cream and milk and syrup whipped at the fountain until it was so thick the straw stood straight up on its own. And here is the part you forgot. The soda jerk pulled the steel canister off the spinner, poured your glass tall, and then set the rest of the canister right beside it, so you got every last drop. That second pour was free, and it came standard. The chains that replaced Howard Johnson's sell you thin shakes pumped out of a machine, made of powder and air. Nobody hands you the extra in the cold metal cup anymore. That little kindness went out the door with the orange roof. Here is what made all of it possible. Before Howard Johnson's, eating on the road was a gamble. You never knew if the food would even be safe. Howard Deering Johnson fixed that with one idea. Every location, the exact same food, the exact same taste. That orange roof was not a building. It was a promise, and that promise is why he is still called the father of the entire franchise industry. Back to the countdown. Number 10. The Shirley Temple. Howard Johnson's understood something most restaurants never figured out. A kid who felt grown up would beg his parents to come back. So while mom and dad ordered coffee, the kids got their own cocktail, minus the alcohol. Ginger ale or lemon lime soda stained pink with a long pour of grenadine, finished with a fat maraschino cherry speared on a little plastic sword. It arrived in a real glass, sweating cold, and a kid holding one felt exactly as important as the adults at the table. The idea caught on so well that grandmothers started making them at home too, just so a grandkid could feel like they were drinking right along with the adults at the table. Number 9. Liver and onions. This one splits the generations right down the middle. Once upon a time, calf's liver was not a punishment. It was a treat people ordered on purpose, and Howard Johnson's kept it on the menu for decades because customers demanded it. Thin slices dredged in flour and pan fried fast, just 2 minutes aside, because 1 minute too long turned it tough and bitter, which is exactly how a whole generation of kids learned to hate it at home. Quick break. If you're enjoying this walk back through the orange roof, hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And if even one of these brought a memory flooding back, tap that like button. It genuinely helps more people who grew up on this stuff actually see the video. All right, back to the countdown. Number 8. Welsh rarebit. Say those words to anyone under 50 and you will get a blank stare. But for decades, this was a Howard Johnson's institution, and it is one of the strangest, most comforting things ever served under that roof. It was basically a grilled cheese turned into a sauce. Sharp cheddar melted down with a splash of beer and a shot of Worcestershire until it went thick and glossy, then ladled hot over toast with 2 strips of bacon and 2 slices of tomato laid on top. You ate it with a fork. Kids ordered it to feel sophisticated. Adults ordered it because it tasted like a hug. Today, almost no restaurant in America will make it for you. 100 years of cheese on toast, traded for nachos, and nobody looked back. Number 7. Chicken croquettes. This was leftover turned into elegance. They came 2 or 3 to a plate, blanketed in pale gravy, with mashed potato and peas on the side. The kitchen put them in the frozen food line too, so a family could buy a box and cook them at home any night of the week. They have all but disappeared, and a chicken nugget will never touch the texture of a proper croquette, crisp shell giving way to a molten center. Number 6. Indian pudding, a colonial-era dessert older than the country itself, baked low and slow from cornmeal and molasses until it set into something between a custard and a porridge, then served the only correct way with a scoop of vanilla ice cream melting into a warm pool on top. Almost no restaurant in America still makes it. Too slow and too old-fashioned for a modern kitchen to bother with. Quick thing before I get to the top 5 because I honestly want to know. Of everything I have shown you so far, which one stopped you cold? Which one did you completely forget existed until just now? Tell me down in the comments. The memories from people who were actually there are better than anything I could put in this video. Alright, the top 5. Number 5. The kids' menu. This was the masterstroke, the thing that quietly turned children into lifelong customers. The kids' meals had names pulled straight out of nursery rhymes. The Simple Simon, kid-sized and built for a small appetite, and every one of them came with a choice of ice cream for dessert, because almost no child on earth was ever going to pick the gelatin. The menu itself folded up into a paper hat, or a little cardboard model of the restaurant, and one of them was famously a printed guide to the metric system. Add the birthday club, where a kid got a card good for a free meal and a cake, and you understand the whole strategy. They were not feeding children. They were building a memory those kids would spend the rest of their lives trying to find again. Number 4. The Frankfurt, not a hot dog. Howard Johnson's own spelling for something they genuinely believed was better, grilled in butter until it blistered and split, then tucked into a split-top New England roll, buttered on both sides and grilled again until golden. The double-buttered, double-grilled result snapped and crunched in a way the soggy steamed version most places hand you today never will. Number 3. The charcoal broiled half chicken, a young spring chicken split and cooked over actual charcoal until the skin blistered and crackled with a smoky char no flat top can fake, the kind of dinner that made grown men plan their week around all-you-can-eat chicken night. Real charcoal broiling is slow, messy, and expensive, so the industry swapped it for gas and called it close enough, and anyone who tasted the original will tell you it was not. Number 2. The 28 flavors, not a menu item, but a national obsession. Real butterfat ice cream lined up like jewelry, including flavors nearly extinct today like burgundy cherry and maple walnut, and a free 29th cone for any kid who could prove they'd worked through the whole list. Hojo stopped producing it before the year 2000, and no freezer aisle has ever truly replaced it. So how does all of this just disappear? How does the biggest restaurant chain in the country, the one with an orange roof every 50 miles, simply vanish? The honest answer is that the world got faster and cheaper. A new kind of restaurant pulled up to the same exits, and one by one the roofs faded from orange to gray and the fryers went cold. The very last Howard Johnson's, up in Lake George, New York, finally closed its doors in 2022, and most of the country never even noticed it was still standing. Which brings me to number 1. The tendersweet fried clam. This is the one. This is the dish that built the entire empire, and the one people still dream about. Howard Johnson made fried clams famous across America, and he did it with an obsession most restaurants would never bother with. He struck an exclusive deal with a clam company up in Ipswich, Massachusetts, and together they did the thing that changed everything. They stripped the dark belly out of the clam and kept only the sweet, tender strip. That is why they were called tendersweet. No grit, no bitterness, just clean clam meat fried fast and crisp and piled into a buttered, grilled, split-top roll. Ask anybody who was there, and the fried clams are the first thing they bring up. The taste of an entire era that drove off down the highway and never came back.
If a kid could sneak into a Howard Johnson's kitchen, he'd meet the specialists who make our children's menu so special. Specialists like Hot Shot Frankie Roll, the hottest hot dog man in the whole world. There's talented Tony Twist. Just look at the way he cooks that spaghetti. Captain Jack Shell's been frying our clams ever since he was knee-high. Using just the right amount of jelly is what makes Spready Freddy's peanut butter and jelly sandwiches so scrumptious. And who else but Lunar Patty could whip up such an out-of-this-world grilled hamburger?
The home of good food is Howard Johnson. Now have Howard Johnson's good food at home.
Howard Johnson's is such a friendly place to have good food. And the next best thing to eating out at Howard Johnson's is eating out at home with Howard Johnson's frozen foods. Delicious foods like frozen corn toasties, golden corn squares you pop into your toaster and then serve buttery hot. So tender, yet they never crumble. And there are so many other Howard Johnson's frozen foods at your grocers now. Howard Johnson's delicious macaroni and cheese.
At the deli and the baker and the ice cream maker in the fresh cooking, fresh looking new Howard Johnson's.
Just walk up to the deli and order what you want. See the baker bake her wares right in the restaurant. Or have the ice cream maker make a special treat. It's all at Howard Johnson's now to smell and see and eat. Take it out or eat it there.
Howard Johnson's, Howard Johnson's, they've got more, they've got more. Different kinds of ice cream, red balloons and hot dogs, burgers too. Splashing foods with swimming, great big things with dunking, giant beds.
What am I going to do with you? I cooked for you for 30 years and you go out and eat hamburgers in little shoe boxes. You should have a proper meal on real china with nice hot rolls, salad, and veggies. I am still your mother.
There are only two people in the world who treat you the way you deserve to be treated.
If it's not your mother, it must be Howard Johnson's.
And don't worry about my birthday. I know you're busy.
So here's my challenge. Find a seafood shack still frying clams the old way. Get them on a buttered split-top roll and tell me down in the comments it doesn't bring something back. Then let me know which of these 12 you remember most and which one you'd bring back tomorrow if you could. And if this one got to you, I made a whole video on Ronco that's going to hit the exact same nerve. Click it right here and I'll see you over there.